Welcome to Bonsai TV. Today we are on the sixth and final episode of the Flashpoint storyline, where I am going to tell you how exactly did one of DC Comics' most well-written storylines came to a conclusion, and how was it that the Flashpoint rebooted the entire DC Comics, therefore starting the new 52. So let's begin by going through a quick recap of what happened in the Flashpoint storyline. It was one day that Barry Allen woke up to find the world around him completely changed. This was a world where he wasn't the Flash. His mother was alive. Instead of Bruce Wayne, his father Thomas Wayne was Batman, and his mother Martha Wayne was the Joker. So when Barry Allen went up to Thomas Wayne asking for help, he discovered that in this world, Aquaman and Wonder Woman were at war with each other. It was after a near-to-death experience that Barry Allen was finally able to regain his super speed back. After that, Barry Allen discovered that here in the Flashpoint reality, Superman wasn't the Superman we all have known. Rather, he was just a skinny and fragile man who had never ever even seen Earth's yellow sun, and therefore he had never really developed his superpowers. Further on, we also discovered that in the Flashpoint reality, Hal Jordan had never become the Green Lantern, and he died in the nuclear explosion while dropping a nuclear bomb on England. Now guys, this is where we start off from where we left off in the last episode. Guys, the reason as to why I did a separate video on Hal Jordan's story was that it was very important for the next part of the story. It connects in the story very deeply. We pick up with the Shazam, or you might as call them the Shazam kids. So these kids were really worried or confused, as I should say, about whether they should fight against the Amazons in the war that was going on between Aquaman and Wonder Woman, because as in that time the world was near its end, and the only way to save the world was to fight and eliminate both Aquaman and Wonder Woman's armies. At this point, we switch back to Barry Allen, where he, along with Cyborg and Thomas Wayne Batman, was left alone by Superman in front of the US Army when they were trying to rescue him. So basically, Superman had flown off towards the sun, and these guys were now trying to somehow escape from the US Army, which they were able to ultimately but in between all this, Barry Allen again started to have those seizures where his memories from both the timelines were converging with each other, which means again that he was running out of time and he was losing himself. Again, somehow Thomas Wayne managed to help Barry Allen get through with the help of the injections he had with him. Now we move over again to the Shazam kids, who were still discussing what they should be doing, and at that time Barry Allen, Thomas Wayne and Cyborg showed up there, and Barry Allen told them the history of Shazam and Captain Marvel in his own reality. After that, all of a sudden, everybody's focus in the room turned towards a news broadcast, which was at that time showing the news that Hal Jordan had been killed in the nuclear explosion while dropping the nuclear bomb on England. So this was what I was talking about. This is how Hal Jordan's story connected here, because up till now, Barry Allen had no idea about where Hal Jordan was in the Flashpoint reality and what had happened to him, and this was a huge deal for Barry Allen. At this point, Thomas Wayne stepped back. He backed off and he said that those people deserve to die. Just when he was walking out, Barry Allen spoke up and said that this fight was everybody's, and everybody had to fight it, and everybody had to save the world from Armageddon. And even if it had to save, even if even if it seemed like there was no hope left at all, even if it seemed like there was nothing they could do, they had to do something. And at that point, everybody from Shazam kids to Cyborg to Thomas Wayne Batman and all other superheroes, they all got up and suited up to fight in the new Themyscira. Now guys, talking about Amazon army, they had no idea that the Shazam kids literally composed of kids. And at that point, guys, in the fight, the Enchantress showed up and killed Billy Batson. Guys, what they think is that the Shazam kids cannot become Shazam even if one of them is dead. Now while all this was happening in front of Barry Allen, Eobard Thawne came in front of him and he said, "Look what you did." Guys, this is it. This is what I love about storytelling. This is why I have loved stories all my life. That adrenaline, that excitement of telling a story to somebody and telling them what all happened in the story. This is so exciting, right? So from here, the issue number 5 starts, and while it was a chaos everywhere, and there was this fight going on between superheroes and Wonder Woman's army and Aquaman's army, and everybody was fighting. On the other side, we see Barry Allen and Eobard Thawne facing off each other. Now guys, let me explain this, because this might get a little confusing. Because looking at it from Barry Allen's point of view, Eobard Thawne was the villain who did all this, right? But if you you guys already know that Hubert Thorne was stuck in the Speed Force and he was trapped there and he could not get out. It was because of Barry Allen that he was able to get out of the Speed Force, and he told Barry Allen that it was all because of him, because Barry Allen had always wanted to save his mother. He always wanted to save her life, and therefore he went back in the time into the past and saved her life. And because of this, whole past changed as well. Now, because there was no Flash, there came a time when the world needed a Flash, and because there was no Flash, therefore it led to the universe as it had become now. Now, guys, here is where the main part comes, which I will be explaining to you very clearly. See, because Hubert Thorne and Barry Allen have been tied together in their past, in their presents, and in their futures, it means like looking at their histories respectively, that Hubert Thorne was obsessed, like their histories, right? Hubert Thorne was obsessed with Barry Allen because Barry Allen was the Flash, and Hubert Thorne had gone back in time and met Barry Allen, and at that time he ended up becoming insane. And when he learned that he had become a villain and they both were tied together, now because Barry Allen became the Flash, therefore it led to Hubert Thorne's existence. Therefore Hubert Thorne went back to past, which led to Barry Allen becoming the Flash. Now this goes on in circle, right? One's existence is because of other. Now when Hubert Thorne was stuck in the Speed Force and he could not get out, during that time Barry Allen went back to the past to save his mother, which led to him never becoming the Flash. But these changes did not have any effect on Hubert Thorne because he was stuck in the Speed Force, right? If you remember, I just told you. And because Barry Allen saved his mother, he did not become the Flash. Therefore, how could Hubert Thorne have existed? This is what is called a paradox. This became a paradox. And therefore, Hubert Thorne could do whatever he wanted to do, and he could travel anywhere in the entire multiverse. And he had been doing all this while since the Flashpoint universe had been created, and he had been watching everything that was going on. Now while Hubert Thorne and Barry Allen were facing off each other, Thomas Wayne Batman did try to help Barry Allen by trying to fight Hubert Thorne, but he was completely outmatched in front of Hubert Thorne because he's so fast because of his speed. But while Hubert Thorne was beating Barry Allen literally to pulp, and while he was standing over Barry Allen and giving him sarcastic comments, and he was teasing him and making fun of Barry Allen viciously, all of a sudden from behind, Thomas Wayne put a sword right through him, ultimately killing Hubert Thorne once and for all. Now while the whole fight was going on, in between the complete chaos and bloodshed everywhere, the resistance showed up, with Grifter leading the team for fighting against Aquaman and Wonder Woman. And amidst all of this, boom, Superman jumped in. Although this is not our Superman by the looks, but he sure did have powers because he flew away, leaving Barry Allen and Thomas Wayne and Cyborg. He went towards Earth's sun, and all this time he spent all this time drinking the sun's radiation and getting energy. This Superman might not look very strong, but he single-handedly fought against both Aquaman and Wonder Woman. And while Superman could have just finished both of them single-handedly, Barry Allen looked around and he saw that the world was about to come to an end, and it was all because of him. So Barry Allen realized that he would have to go back in time and change things once again. He would have to let his mother die so that he can set things up back once again. So now Thomas Wayne handed Barry Allen a letter for Bruce Wayne, assuming if Barry Allen could set up things back again, and then Barry Allen started running as fast as he could, during which he ultimately broke the time stream. But he kept on running, and during all this he did meet his mother for the last time, and he told her that he had to let her go and he had to let her die in order to save the world. But as Barry kept on running, he met the version of himself who was going back in time to save his mother. He kept on running. Now guys, this was it. This was exactly the point where DC Comics got rebooted. Because Barry Allen went back in the past to save his mother, and then he again went back to let her die. This was where a whole new universe, a whole new reality was created, which allowed DC Comics to get their different versions of all characters in one single reality, in one single timeline, which they call the New 52. After that, when Barry Allen woke up in his office once again, he realized that the flashpoint had really happened. It had literally happened. But now everything was back to normal once again. Now after that, Barry ran straight to Batcave and he met Bruce Wayne. And guys, when he handed over the letter that Thomas Wayne had given to Barry Allen for Bruce Wayne actually cried. He cried while reading the letter in which his father had written to him that he was proud of him. So guys, this is it. This was the story of Flashpoint. I guess by now you know why Flashpoint is one of the best DC comic stories ever written. I'll see you guys with my next video very soon. If you guys like my work, please like, share and comment on this video and my other videos as well. And do not forget to subscribe to Bonsai TV for more of such awesome content. Until then, have a nice day guys.